guys, how's it going? My name is Jeff with the Collector Car Network here at Las Vegas Barrrett-Jackson. So that's going to be AutoHunter.com, ClassicCars.com, and The Journal. And today we're going to be looking at this absolutely gorgeous green 1966 Sunbeam Tiger. Now, what if I told you that this car actually has Shelby history? Which is not something that everybody knows about this, but I've got a whole load of info for you guys in this video, so let's start breaking it down. So this car was actually built by the Roots Group as far as how it was developed. These are basically Shelby Cobras developed by somebody else, and they also had a lot of involvement from Carroll Shelby himself. So what happens here is this is a Ford, either 260 or 289, put into the body that you see here, which was again designed by the Roots Group. And what was essentially happened is when they were building the car, they needed help figuring out how to put the engine in. So they went out to Carroll Shelby and they asked him, can you put in a Ford V8 for us? So they went ahead and actually had Ken Miles as well take his own money. So Carroll Shelby got about $10,000, Ken Miles got about $800, with the same goal of fitting in a 260 Ford V8 into one of these vehicles. And if you'll notice from the front end, this is actually one of the Mark I styles. There would also be a Mark II Sunbeam Tiger, which would actually have a different front end and then would be upgraded to the 289. Now this car, the 66, actually has the Ford 289 in this. So this has the upgraded engine, which would have come on the Mark II versions of the car. So with that story, what happened is Shelby would take that engine. Shelby would manage to take a little bit longer than Ken Miles, but would later successfully install the engine into the Sunbeam Tiger, and then they had their prototype. So that car would actually go on to be unveiled at the New York Motor Show when they would go to design the prototype. And when the car was about to be unveiled, it actually had a different name. It was not the Sunbeam Tiger. It was actually the Thunderbolt originally, and the name was changed just before displaying the car at the New York Motor Show. Now, this car, like I said, it's basically a Shelby Cobra. So under this hood here is where you'll find that Ford engine, which could be a 260 in a Mark I car and would actually be a 289 in the Mark II versions of the car. And I love these because these have a lot of your classical British styling, including this one being a very close color to almost similar British racing green. You can see, of course, some of your standard British wheels, which are pretty typical and what you'll find from any of the roadsters from the era. This car, like I said, does have the 289, and in this black interior with the wood grain, it also has a 4-speed manual transmission, which will direct that power to the rear wheels. And it looks absolutely gorgeous. Everything you'd want from your roadster that you'd be taking out, and all the horsepower you would get from a 289. Now, if we come back, you'll actually see the Roots badge on here, which shows the original production for the company, which is the company that, again, designed this body and then came to Carroll Shelby asking for help with fitment of the engine. Now, Shelby, being a businessman, of course, wanted to be the one to produce these vehicles as well. Unfortunately, what would happen is Roots Group would go on to have Jensen, the same company that made the Jensen Interceptor, would go on to be the company that would actually end up building these cars. So these are designed by the Roots Group, engineered and prototyped by Carroll Shelby, and then Jensen would be the one that would actually build these cars. But it's not all that ends terribly badly for Shelby. They would actually go on to pay Shelby royalties for all of the cars that were produced. So here is the rear end of the car. As you can see, it says Sunbeam. And of course, these are just gorgeous cars, and they're basically little unknown Cobras that have the little narrow bodies, a little bit more subtle, but have all that performance that you might find in a 289 narrow body Cobra. So with that, thank you so much for watching that video, guys. If you could throw us a like, we'd really appreciate it. And if you could go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this in the future, especially from the Las Vegas auctions for Barrrett-Jackson. And I will see you guys next time.